Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys, this is another MCU review. Today we're tackling the big one, guys. This is Avengers 3, aka Avengers Infinity War. This is, I mean, you saw the thumbnail, you saw, how could you not? You read the title, again, how could you not? I believe this is basically a perfect MCU movie. For a lot of reasons. One, look at the freaking Blu-ray cover, right? It's a cool Blu-ray cover. I know, it's not part of the review, but it's a cool cover, okay? Look at it. Really cool stuff. And, yeah, according to Peter Travers, epic event on the back cover, epic event. It is. I mean, you've got, you thought Avengers 1 back in 2012 was, like a crazy big deal with all the cameos, and oh my god, we're getting Hulk with freaking Iron Man, with Captain America, with Thor, with Black Widow, with Hawkeye, with, it's crazy. And now we got, I mean, I'm not going to name all the way, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Panther, Okoye, Shuri, Winter Soldier, Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Vision, Wanda, Doctor Strange. I mean, it's insane. The cast is insane. Now, obviously the cast being crazy and, being a lot of heroes and all that, that doesn't make a good film. Thankfully, the Russo brothers are back from their directing with The Winter Soldier and Civil War. It's actually kind of funny that I'm making this review now because apparently the Russo brothers are going to be directing Avengers 5 and the Kang Dynasty. It's not confirmed, but I hope, because I think truly, I've obviously seen everything, basically. I haven't seen Loki Season 2 yet, but everything with the MCU I've seen practically. And for the most part, kind of, sort of. And with the everyone that I've seen, I do straight up believe that the Russo brothers are the best to direct anything Marvel. They're really freaking good at what they do. And of course, they killed it with this film as well. I think that they're able to, obviously they didn't write it, but the writing is really good where, you're able to kind of have these different characters and these different scenarios happen, and it doesn't feel out of place or weird or just strange or like, oh, this is kind of, would he act like that type thing? Like, everyone feels how they should. And that's really crazy that they can juggle all these characters. It's like juggling freaking flaming chainsaws. I mean? Like, how do you do it? And they did it. And it's really crazy. And again, Thanos is the big bad guy. A lot of the MCU has been kind of culminating to this moment. And of course, Endgame is the real, I don't want to say finale, because it's not the end of really anything except like a phase. Spider-Man Far From Home is the end of Phase 3, so I don't know. But, there's a lot of stuff riding on this film, right? Thanos is the one that sent Loki. Thanos is the one that's been, gaining all these Infinity Stones. We've been seeing Infinity Stones in other Marvel movies, so, this feels like a big thing. It's not just, Thanos isn't just a Killmonger villain, or a Vulture villain, or Malekith, or something like that. He has a purpose. He's been, he's like the Palpatine of Marvel, essentially. What I mean? As of right now, I can't think of a single MCU villain that has had more, not only memes, but also just, garnished a reputation for being not only badass, but also scary and formidable, intimidating, all those different things. And obviously the CGI at Thanos is top tier. He's, Thanos is up there with, Snoke and Gollum and Davy Jones. He's up there with the best of the best CGI people. So that also helps. But Thanos is a great villain. Of course, he really does believe that he's right, and that's what makes him a good villain. He's not just the evil, weird bald guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna kill everyone because I'm bad. There's a real, weight to what he wants to do, and you're maybe, like, unlike Killmonger, where we're like, or Vulture, where we're like, wait, is he right? That kind of makes sense, and then they start killing. This guy, he basically wants to eradicate half the life of every planet in the entire galaxy. To basically save us from damnation or whatever he wants to do. And look, I get it, I mean, there's a lot of people in the world, okay, I understand. Try to go to a store, I want to do the same thing. But at the same time, don't do that, it's effing bad, and it's a big no-no. And the Avengers are there to stop it. And basically, you get a very serious movie, I think, going from like Thor Ragnarok, and Black Panther was pretty serious too. But this, Thor Ragnarok ended very kind of, I mean, that whole movie was basically funny, but, that movie kind of ended in a specific way. And this one cranks up right after that, where Thanos' ship kind of appears, and then you see, Thor and Loki, they're not really making jokes. Thor does make jokes in this movie, and I think that they actually did a good job with, the writing, because it's a different writer. And they did a really good job of kind of making Thor funny, but not, like, stupid funny, where he's not, he's not like, it's not like Loki gets his freaking neck snapped, and Thanos and Thor's like, oh, no. He's not, he's not like stupid and making weird jokes. He's serious when he has to be, and he is funny when he has to be, and the jokes land. I think it works. Something quickly about Thanos. I was talking with a recon trooper. He was like, oh, one of our podcasts. The podcast isn't out yet. It might have been off camera, but he was like, oh, there's a scene, I can't unsee it, where Thanos is choking Loki and he breaks his neck, and his gauntlet, Thanos' gauntlet is like around Loki's neck and shit, and obviously Thanos is a fake CGI character, okay? Thanos is not there. Josh Brolin is there, the actor, in the mocap balls and stuff, but Thanos isn't real. Thanos' big purple, the Incredible Bulk effing hands aren't around Loki really. So obviously that's CGI trickery. And, there is a gauntlet, and I guess he was saying that, like, the gauntlet kind of, like, messed with his neck in some way. I didn't see it. He was like, oh yeah, by the way, I watched it in like super slow motion, frame by frame. And I'm like, oh, it's like the Last Jedi throne room scene. There's issues in a lot of movies, not just Star Wars and Marvel. There's issues in pretty much every movie, but yeah, it's kind of funny that, like, people that really complain, and I'm not saying Recon was complaining, he's just pointing something out, but a lot of people complaining are like, oh, I went frame by frame on the Blu-ray, and mistake, and obviously when I'm watching this, when I did watch this for this review, I didn't pause it, I didn't rewind it, I didn't go back, I was a look for it, I didn't see it, so sorry dude, I didn't see it. I'm assuming it is there. I trust you. I believe you. I'm not like you're lying or nothing, but I didn't see it. But for the most part, Thanos' CGI was really great. Really no issues at all with the CGI in general with this film. It's freaking great. But going back to what I was saying, that this movie is, going back like the serious stuff really fast. They do a good job of, like I said, balancing the comedy, and I straight up, I didn't remember this movie having that much comedy. It's not a comedy, but when I say comedy, I mean, funny moments. And there's a lot of funny moments where I'm like, ooh, okay, I kind of understand what you're doing there, and okay, maybe that works, maybe that doesn't work, but a lot of it is kind of funny. There's some jokes in there that genuinely made me laugh, but overall, this is a serious movie, and a lot of serious stuff. I mean, the end of this movie, literally, they had big balls of vibranium because they had to, metaphorically, because they had to, murder, essentially, or, blip, or whatever, dust away a lot of actors that are, in these multi-billion-dollar movies. They're millionaire people, and it's like, oh man, how are you, like, doing that? Like, it's crazy, Like, Spider-Man gets blipped, the Guardians, a lot of these big players get blipped away, and, by blipped, I mean, the poof after he snaps. It's effing crazy, and I know, I've seen this, like, 5 times now, but the shock is still there. It's still such a powerful movie in so many ways, with Vision and Wanda, with, Thanos and his motives, with Gamora, with the death of Gamora. Gamora's a little kid, and her, the genocide of her people and all that, Thanos' goals, Doctor Strange, everything in there, Hulk, not really wanting to come out. That kind of shows that Hulk is genuinely scared of Thanos. There's a lot of really good stuff in there, and again, the writing is great. Every character gets their time to shine, which is really cool as well. The CGI is phenomenal. It's some of the best in the MCU, period. Again, this is really the MCU at their A-game. They can't afford to F this up. They can't afford to make a movie that looks like poop, or, or horrible writing, or horrible acting, or horrible whatever. This is genuinely what the MCU has been striving towards since 2008 with Iron Man 1. Obviously, you can argue that it's Endgame, but really, this is the one where shit goes down, because so much happens, So many people get blipped away, and the movie, again, it has the nerves to end not with a joke or not with a cliffhanger. I guess it's a cliffhanger, but it kind of ends with, Thanos in the beginning or the middle, whatever the movie, saying, hey, what are you going to do when you achieve this? And he's like, I'm going to look down and smile and just reflect and soak in what I've done, because what I believe is right. At the end of the movie, everyone gets flipped away, and Cap's like, oh my god, what happened? They're all in disbelief, like, what the fudge is happening? And then it shows Thanos in some, Amish country-ass looking shack, and he's just like, sitting in there, and he's smiling, and the music's beautiful and haunting, and the shot is beautiful, and Thanos smiling, the shot looks phenomenal, and then it's just black screen, and then the music, and I'm like, it still hits, It still hits. Like, Hobbit 2, Desolation of Smaug, that had a good ending too. So there's a lot of good movies that have cliffhangers, but this one was really like, oh my, I know it was only a year wait, but, I swear to God, you had to be there, man. I'm assuming you were there with me too, but, that movie, when that ended, and I saw it in theaters in 2018, that felt like a freaking eternity to get to. I don't know why I said it like that, but an eternity to get to, Endgame. You know, we didn't even know the name of the movie, you know, but Doctor Strange says we're in the Endgame now, and I was like, there it is, you know. But again, everything, like I said, everyone brings their A game, man. I thought Tony was going to die. The actors are great. The acting is great. The writing is phenomenal. CGI looks flawless, basically. I kind of think it's funny that, you know, maybe, I guess if I'm really nitpicking, some of the comedy didn't land. I felt like, you know, this is a very serious movie. You know, not just for Marvel, but just a movie in general. Like, people of all ages love these characters. And to see them die like that, or get poofed away or whatever, it's haunting and it's traumatizing. You know, I mean, these are cultural effing icons. They're not like, you know, Garfield. This is like Captain America and Iron Man and stuff. You know, I mean, I know they didn't get blipped, but still, people care about these characters. I care about you. Care about these characters. My grandma loves, you know, my nanny and poppy love these characters. So it's crazy that they have the nerves to do that. And again, they ended on such a crazy cliffhanger. And, you know, the post-credit scene, even besides setting up for Captain Marvel, which we'll get into soon here, you know, literally has like a 9/11 stuff happen where like a helicopter hits a building, blows up a building. People are getting into car accidents because they're just blipping out of their cars. Nick Fury and Hill get blipped. I forget which one of them's a Skrull, really, but still, they get blipped. And again, like I said, man, everything works. Like, I don't really know how else to add, but like, the action is great. I think it's really imaginative. I think, you know, having Thanos, when he does get all the stones and he's kind of really powerful on Titan, just going crazy, like he's bringing the freaking moon particles and stuff on Tony and, you know, Iron Man. Doctor Strange has really good fight scenes. Of course, the Guardians are great as well. You know, I think, like I said, one of the best parts about this film, well, we'll get to it with Endgame, but in this film particularly, they all have a chance to shine, and they all have their moments, and it doesn't feel like, you know, oh, Iron Man had too much screen time, we gotta get more Star-Lord, we gotta get more Drax, or Rocket. Like, no, literally, every character on that freaking DVD cover has a good amount of, you know, damage and role in the movie. I mean, maybe a Koye or a Shuri, maybe not as much, but still, everyone here has their time to shine for the most part. That's really cool. Because, you know, everyone has a favorite character and they all have stuff to do and there's all these different motives and character, you know, arcs and all that. Because, you know, we've been seeing, I don't know how many movies up until this point, but there's been a lot of MCU movies leading up to this. You know, this is not just the end of a trilogy or the end of a, you know, like Pirates of the Caribbean where it's 5 movies. This is a lot of movies leading up to basically, you know, Infinity War Part 1, Endgame Part 2, essentially. But in this film, this is where all that payoff, all these movies, all these plot points that, you know, sometimes they're not really at the forefront. You know, Thanos isn't really the main bad guy overall, really, until this film. But, you know, everyone, you know, he's kind of in the shadows, and you get these little, you know, breadcrumbs, so to speak. And then finally, when you see this movie, it's like, oh my god, you know, this is freaking crazy. And like I said, the payoff was totally worth the wait, man. Revisiting this movie was a freaking blast. I absolutely love it. It's one of the best Marvel movies of all time. One of the best comic book movies of all time. And again, you know, like I said, most of the comedy did work. There is like I said, it's a very serious movie. A lot of stuff happens, a lot of death, a lot of violence, a lot of action, a lot of sad stuff, a lot of tragedy. And, you know, maybe it's a bit weird to have some jokes. But, you know, Drax is funny. The Guardians are funny. They're not automatic. You know, it's not like everyone in this movie is going to be ultra serious all the time. So I get that. You know, as I said in whatever effing review I did, having these characters joke around from time to time works because it shows that they're human and they're not just robots who are like, danger, robot, you know, action, save the day, violence, dread. You know, the Marvel movies, the MCU is not strictly doom and gloom the whole time. But it also shouldn't be strictly funny all the time either. And I think that this movie really did hit that balance. Again, I don't remember half the jokes, so that was kind of cool. I think Peter Dinklage being, I don't know what this dwarf little person, I don't know the thing. But, you know, why the fuck am I doing this? He's not this tall. You know what I mean? It's like Grogu. But no, like, he's a short dude. And they made him into a giant. And they still call him a dwarf, even though he's like freaking 28,000 feet tall. I thought that was kind of funny. Maybe the CGI on Peter, I don't know his name, Urfblglorf or whatever, isn't really the best. You know, whatever. Like, whatever. You know, maybe Ebony Maw's lip when she's talking isn't perfect. You know, little things like that. 'Cause I got glasses, okay, and like I said in a previous review, I jacked up all the crap on my TV to make it like extra sharp and extra good looking. So maybe that's why I'm like, oh, you know, maybe it's not the best ever. And I get it, it's 2018, but still, 99.99% of this looks phenomenal and basically photoreal. Thanos looks freaking great. I love the action. I love that you know, we're getting Captain America with a beard, and he's got a different shield because again, he gave that up in Civil War. So again, one of the biggest props, besides just getting all the characters to shine, is making sure and you know, being consistent with their storytelling. The last thing you want to do is be like, oh shit, we forgot that detail that was mentioned in Spider-Man Homecoming, or Captain America the First Avenger, or, you know, Thor the Dark World, and we forgot to honor that, or we forgot that little bit, you know, thing. And I know, like, you know, Homecoming had that canon error, and I think they actually did, I guess it's a retcon, but they did fix that and say that, you know, in canon, Vulture made a mistake because he's a freaking old boomer. Yeah, basically that's what they did. So, you know, it is very, very rare to see a team-up movie of this scale, besides, like, Lego Dimensions. You know what I mean? And, like, everyone has their time to shine. Everyone's written great. I love the action. I mean, the plot is just crazy, crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I know what happens in this movie, but I was still on the edge of my seat. The music is amazing, the ending is shocking and really poignant, and just kind of hits home of what the fudge just happened. And again, the post-credit scene expertly sets up not only what's going to happen, and, you know, that crazy, you know, oh my god, what just happened type feel, and I gotta wait a year now, or in my case, a few days, but it also sets up Captain Marvel. So the next film is Ant-Man and the Wasp. I remember that being not my favorite movie of all time. I don't hate it, but I'm going to be revisiting that. At the time of this going live, hopefully I already have seen that. I'm going to be watching it tonight, so I'll have that review out soon. But, you know, then we got Captain Marvel, which, again, is a prequel, but it just, you got to watch it like that. And then Endgame, then Far From Home, and we're in the era where you know, no one likes it, apparently, except for me, with Phase 4 or whatnot. But again, man, I genuinely enjoy Infinity War. I think it sets up perfectly for Endgame. It has that amazing, you know, enthralling narrative where everyone in the world wondering what the fudge just happened, what we just witnessed. It was insanity. We didn't think it was going to be this crazy. You know what I mean? The stakes were higher than ever, and, you know, it was just a fun time. There were some good jokes, amazing action, great CGI. Again, this is the MCU, and this is Marvel at their absolute golden peak. And I don't think that it's been topped, really, by that many MCU movies, or comic book movies in general. Like, this movie has so much riding on it from all these previous movies. They had to get it right. They absolutely nailed it. Please tell me down below in the comments what you think about Avengers Infinity War, and what your favorite scene is, or character, or moment. And, again, the next one is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then, yeah, we'll continue from there. We're going to keep on pushing on. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.